Pin, video. There you go. So this is the finished product that we're going to be working towards today. As you can see, it's a wreath. So you can use it either to hang it if you want to, or you can use it as a centerpiece. And then we Danes, we like candles a lot. So we put candles in the middle, and I think that looks really, really pretty. I don't know if you could tell, I put it on a cake stand. So if you want to use it as a centerpiece, it actually comes up just a little bit. One of the things I like about using a wreath as a centerpiece is that it's not too tall, so that you can actually see the person you're sitting across from, and that you can talk, so you can talk to each other. This wreath here is not like an evergreen, so you have to water it. There's no and ifs or buts about it, because otherwise the leaves are just going to shrivel on you. And that's very easy. You just, put it in a shallow pan and just water it when you don't have it out on display. That, or you can just say, you know what, it's done. This is it. Can you see me now? I think something happened. Where am I?
We can see you, but not your hands.
Okay, there we go. Okay, now I'm here.
Yeah, there you are.
Okay, so let me show you some of the materials that I've been using here. First, let's go with the tools. You each should have a ring. This is 50-pound galvanized steel wire, and then it's wound together with just thin steel wire. If you make 12 of these or 14, as I did the other day, it is very hard on your hands, let me just tell you. And then I ran out of floral wire, unfortunately, so I'm going to be using this. I think I gave you all some floral wire. So that's going to be our next. And then we have our trusty tools here. I have two different cutters. Let's see, I have this one, which is a needle-nosed, very thin cutter. If you don't have one of those, I warmly recommend getting one. It is the best garden tool for fine work. This one is a little more hefty. I like this one because it's a little smaller than the usual ones that you get. And then of course the trusty wire cutter, because you do not want to use your garden tools to cut this. I have to confess that I've probably done it in my time, but I don't recommend doing that at all. So those are the tools. Oh, I should show you too. I've not given you any of this. I'm thinking that I'm going to try and complete the wreath with this. This is floral tape. It's a little less hard on your hands than the wire. So I just found it, I found it this morning. So there you go. All right, now we get to the fun stuff, which is, let's see, there you go. So in terms of plant materials, let's see. We start with what I call the foundation plants, or the foundation materials, anything that has the broad leaves. That will sort of be the stuff that really forms the foundation of whatever the wreath is going to be. There's also, in terms of other foundation plants, I have the variegated holly here, which I think is just awfully pretty. There you go. And then I also have Andromeda, which can, most people have some Andromeda out in their garden somewhere. So those are the foundation leaves. I also have, which is one of my favorites. I did not put it in the kits because I couldn't find any, but I left some out by the Church Street entrance. So if you want to come back and pick up some more stuff, you're very welcome to do that. This is a rhododendron, and I love this one. This is, I think the leaves are so pretty, and it blooms really, really early in the spring with these gorgeous little pale lilac flowers. It is a warmly recommended rhododendron. Let's see, what else do I have that's fun? Then we get to sort of the accent stuff. So here are, this is actually not foraged, except foraged from the supermarket. This is eucalyptus. The eucalyptus berries really add a beautiful accent. And then we have, this is actually from the ivy. These are ivy berries. I'm pretty sure that I gave you all some ivy berries. I think these are actually fun. I hadn't noticed them before, but there you go. Then we have, this one here is actually also a holly. It's a blackberry holly. One of the things I like about using the blackberry holly rather than boxwood is that it doesn't smell. So this is really quite nice. And then we have berries. Berries are always good. As you can see with my wreath, I try to sort of go for a more fall-like look rather than a Christmas look. I'm not quite ready for Christmas yet, but these, of course, would be great in a Christmas decoration or Christmas arrangement. This is a Winterberry Holly. It's actually a deciduous holly, and these are the berries. I have noticed that this year the birds must have been incredibly hungry, or the deer, because it's very hard to find bushes with the berries still on. Usually they will stay on way into the winter time, but not this year apparently. And then we have these guys here. Just be careful with these because they are very prickly. It is called a multiflora rose. It is a very horrible invasive plant. However, I do think the berries are quite lovely actually. And then we have, this is another little accent plant. This is a lavender. It smells really nice too. I actually planted lavender right in front of the library the other day, or last year, and that has done very well out in front there. So that's what I've been foraging. And then we have this stuff here, which is a variegated sage. As you can see, that too really adds sort of a nice little texture and nice color to go with it. Let's see, what else do I have? I have these guys here, which is also a berry, and this is a Japanese bittersweet, also a terrible invasive vine. You see it all over the place, but as you can see, berries are really quite pretty. Oh, and I have this stuff here. I don't know that I put any of it in the kits. I found that at my neighbor's the other day. This is arborvitae, but you can see it's a chartreuse arborvitae, so that gives a nice little texture and color. And let's see, what else do I have? I have these guys here, which are called Johnny Lauda's walking stick. I didn't put these in the kits because as I said, I went to my neighbor's yesterday and foraged in his garden. I did leave a bunch of them out on Church Street if you want to go back and pick up some. But I love these. Aren't they pretty? And I don't know if we can, oh, let me just show you. So this is actually what it looks like in real life. I don't know if you can see it. Isn't this gorgeous? I mean, look at this. Just the texture and the wildness about it. I just think this is a fantastic plant. All right. So let's see. Let's get to the fun stuff. So if the first things first, if you take your plant materials, what you want to do is, let's see, for instance, if you start with put all of this stuff aside. If you start with the ivy, you want to just cut like leaves, like, oops, can you see that? Oh, there we go. So you want to just cut little small pieces that are sort of a couple of inches long. The way this particular arrangement is going to work, let me just show you, is that we are going to be making small bouquets, and then we'll tie them around the ring eventually. So for instance here, let me just get a little bit of wire. I'll just demonstrate one so you can see what I'm doing. So I take a cup. Is this okay? Can you see? There, I think that's better. So you take some leaves like this, and maybe a little of the ilex like this. And then what you do is you take some wire like that, and cut it. So here's one little bouquet that we're starting with. So the first thing you want to do is just make like some little short pieces so that you have stuff to make a bouquet with. So I'm going to start with some of the ivy here. So just, you know, cut short pieces, cut pieces. Oh, here, I've got some berries going on here. So, and then, for instance, if you're cutting if you have some of the sage, you want to just rip the bottom off like this. See what I did here? I just ripped it off so that you have a nice clean stem. It's always good to have a garbage can next to yourself when you're doing this kind of stuff. Okay. And for instance, when you have a berry branch like this, you want to make sure that it's you know, that there's only the top of it that shows. Otherwise, it's going to get too bulky. All right. And when you're preparing the lavender, also what you want to do is just rip the bottom off like this, so it gets nice and clean. And then just leave that right here. So we have the lavender and having a little bit of problems here. And with the bittersweet, you want to do the same thing. The bittersweet, what you want to make sure is you want to make sure that you have a nice clean stem at the bottom. And the bittersweet, you actually have to cut. It's not that easy to rip off the berries, but you can just cut them off. Okay. So here we go. And then the next thing you want to do is to take your floral wire. I learned that the hard way. Is you want to just cut little pieces first because it is really unforgiving. So all you want to just cut. Yours should be green. It's not silver like this one. Just cut pieces that are about, I don't know, 2-3 inches or something like that. Because then you have them ready for your mini bouquets. I need my glasses for this. Does anybody have any questions? Or are you too busy cutting?
Do you have tips for how to wrap the floral wire around it to get it like tight?
Yes, I do. That's actually why the small pieces are so much easier to work with. Yesterday when I was doing the demo, I was standing here with this big wire thing and it was just so frustrating. So cutting little pieces definitely makes life a lot easier.
Hey Lotta, it's Terry.
Yeah.
Should I cut the wire a little bit longer? Or are we going to use the tails to wrap onto the ring?
No, we're not going to. No, we're going to use the. We're going to use a long piece of wire.
Okay.
So, all righty, I have cut myself, you know, some wire. I have some short pieces that I'm going to start with. And I have my ring right here. So let's put the ring aside for now and then make some small bouquets. And then let me just show you. So, okay, here we go. Is this? So here I have my little, one thing I should tell you, that the smaller you make the bouquets, the tidier the look will be of your arrangement. And the bigger you make the bouquets, the more wild it will look, if you will. So if you want a really nice, tight, very, very tidy looking bouquet or ring, you want to make these bouquets very, very small. You're going to need, for the wreath that I did, I think you're going to need about 25 bouquets, and I made mine sort of mid-size. I didn't want to go all too tiny. So if you want to start let's just start with just a leaf bouquet, and I will tell you why we do that. So I'm taking my trusty ivy, which covers a multitude of sins. And I happen to think that this combination with the ivy and the sage is really, really pretty. And then I probably also want to, so here's my beautiful, beautiful rhododendron. And you want to take some of the leaves off, otherwise it just gets too overpowering. So I have some rhodo, I have some sage. See how that really looks quite nice? And then I take the wire, and you can just, if you can see here, there we go. I leave a little bit of a tail and just wrap that one around first, nice and tight. And this does get hard on your hands, I'm afraid. And you really don't need more than 3 or 4 turns. And then you just take it off like that. Okay. So now I have 2 bouquets here. I have my 2 little bouquets. There you go. Everybody follows me thus far? Just tell me when you're ready for when we do an accent piece. You know, I should have had music for this. Something soothing and Bach-y or something. Now, one thing I do find when you're doing these plant type arrangements is that it gets very messy. There's just nothing you can do about it. I personally take a fairly dim view of bows in floral arrangements, but that's just me. I do find that with nature, you can do anything. There's no such thing as bad taste in nature. However, if you do think that you need something a little bowy, then you can use some of the calamagrostis, which is the big grass. And what you want to do is you just want to make the stem in the middle a little soft, and then you can sort of do something like this where you do a little bowy type thing, and then you can actually put it together with a berry or something like that. Just a tip if you want to sort of try and do something a little fun with manipulating your materials. Are we ready for a accent piece? I'm not hearing anything, so I'm going to take that as a yes.
Ready.
Okay, so
I'm listening.
What's it?
We're listening.
You're listening. So once again, I'm gonna, you know what, instead of, I will start with a piece of Andromeda here. And then I think what I want to do is I'm going to take some of the horrible multifloral, but which is very, very pretty. And then I think I am going to take a piece of the lavender like this. See what I'm doing here? And then one more time. Leave a little tail, and then just wrap a few times. 3 turns is gracious plenty. And remember, do not use your garden clippers to cut the wire with. I have done that numerous times, and it's a very bad idea. So now I have 3 bouquets. Let's see. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do another. I'm just going to continue making bouquets. And this is sort of where it gets fun, where you can you know, put things in that you were, you know, you just have some fun with it. I do think that these eucalyptus berries are just absolutely delightful. And the leaves too, if you look at the leaves, that gray leaf is just absolutely stunning. So once again, as you can see, I use about 3 pieces per mini bouquet. If you want to make them bigger, then you can do that as well. But I find that is enough. And then I'm going to take, you know what? Okay, maybe some of this. And some more wire. And for now, don't worry about the bottoms of the bouquet. We'll burn that bridge when we get to it. I think this eucalyptus berry is just too. Oh, one of the things that I highly recommend is that if anybody gives you a bouquet of flowers or something, you can cannibalize the stuff. Somebody sent me a beautiful bouquet the other day, and I was able to take all kinds of good materials off of that. So that was kind of nice to be able to do. Okay. So the wreath that I did yesterday, the one that I just showed you, it took me about an hour to finish that. But that, of course, did not include the foraging bit and going out and, you know, cannibalizing people's gardens and things. I got, if there's bird poop on it, I apologize. That's part of the foraging life. I do think these ivy berries really are kind of fun to look at. One thing I mean, I don't usually use gloves, but for instance, this stuff here, the multifloral, the thorns are really super prickly. So if you are going to use that, you might want to think about wearing gloves. Okay. And here you can see I have a piece of sage, and we just take the bottom off like this, just off it goes. make a nice clean stem. The ivy leaves are definitely a big help. What they do is that they really, you know, they will cover the metal ring quite nicely. And bring this around. I'm using the lavender right now. It smells really, really nice. I think I put in your kits as well some bay leaf. I don't have any right here, but I think I put some bay leaf in. That's actually, I have a bay leaf tree at home, which it started out as a tiny little cute little thing. And now it's this huge tree that I have to like bring in every winter. It's very frustrating. But the bay leaf that you get from this kind of, from your own tree is really much more pungent and much better tasting than the stuff you buy. All righty. So I'm going to start showing you how to start to assemble the wreath I have. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 9 bouquets right now. That should start it. So let me just put this over here. Okay, and then we have our trusty ring, which is right here. Now it doesn't, just make sure that it's somewhat flat. There you go. Now it's nice. It sits quite nicely on the table. And of course, you can decide what you want to do with the ring, if you want to hang it or if you want to just use it as a centerpiece. One of the things about using it as a centerpiece is that, for instance, if you have berries that you want to that fall off or are easily not so easy to, if you have accent pieces that you want to use, you can just sort of tuck them in. You can't do that with a hanging wreath, of course. So your first piece that you want to use for the ring should be all leaves, and because and I will show you why. I am going to, so this is, okay, so you have your floral wire, and this is what I did yesterday. Oh, this is so annoying. This is really super annoying. Just cut yourself a longer piece instead of trying to deal with the whole roll. It's just easier to do. So cut yourself like a foot or so. It's just easier to work with. I got very frustrated with the wire yesterday. So we have our trusty ring, and then we leave a little bit of a tail and just wrap it around here, and then you wrap around the ring and the bouquet like that. So yeah, you can see it's sitting nice and tight on the ring. Make sure to keep the wire. Oh, and also make sure that you go the same direction all the time, because otherwise you end up unwinding your wire. And then you see the extra pieces here, or the longer pieces, you just cut them off. Nice and tidy. Like that. So, you see that? Here we go. First piece on. And then what you do is you take your next piece. Be careful to not get too tight on the previous bouquet. So one of the things I discovered yesterday when I was doing this is that I put them too tight together, and it ended up sort of, the little bouquets ended up kind of crushing each other. So you want to make sure that you actually leave some space in between. And which means that you probably will have to, oops, can you see me? Probably will have to wire a little longer, like that. So you can see here, I have about an inch right here from where I start, from where the leaves are to where to the end. And then, and you can see now, it so happens that it quite handily, you know, I'm wiring the wrong way here. Quite, I'm really irritated with myself that I ran out of floral wire yesterday, because this is definitely not the best stuff. Okay. Okay. And again, just cut it off like that. And you want to make sure that the wire, this part is actually covered, so it's not visible. This is where the floral wire is much better, because you can't actually see what's see this stuff. This silver wire is not really what you should be using. All righty, so one more time. So give it about an inch, like that, nice and tight. And then you put this little fellow, the next little fellow on. There you go. You see how you have now, you have the sort of the play between, I'm all about texture. I love texture. So you have that beautiful sort of the serene look of the ivy, and then you have the variegated sage as an accent, and you have that dark leaf as an accent as well. I just think it just gets to be so pretty, and there's no such thing as bad taste in nature, ever. So you can really go to town with stuff. You can also, this technique you can use with anything. You can use it for flowers. You can use it with just, you know, flowers. You can use it with evergreens if you want to just do evergreens one day. If you want to sort of, once you have a Christmas, you want to do a Christmas arrangement or holiday, whichever you celebrate. Actually, last year, a friend of mine who is Jewish asked me to do a Hanukkah arrangement for her. And I made it with blue spruce, because, you know, the Hanukkah colors are blue, and that came out really, really nicely. Oh, you know what? So here, I don't know if you can tell here, I actually put these two together a little too closely. So I'm just gonna unwind and just pull it down just a little further. There you go.
Lotte, how long will this arrangement last?
If you water it, and you have to water it, because these are, I mean, these are not evergreens. And even the variegated holly just gets shrivelly and nasty. But if you water it, you should be able to keep it for a week, I'd say, definitely.
So it should be good for Thanksgiving as a centerpiece?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, so one of the things that I have done is, you can just take a shallow pan or a basin or something, and just, you know, submerge the bottom. Okay. So now I ran out of wire, so I'm just going to cut myself a new piece. This is so annoying. What? I'm sorry. Such bitches. Okay. All right, let's see. And of course you want to sort of make sure that you vary your accent pieces. So that you can see here the eucalyptus berry sort of really talks really quite nicely to the ivy berries and the multifloral. And is anybody having problems with the wire? Are you able to get it tight enough around? I'll take that as a yes. There we go. Okay, so I have for this bit here, and you can see like this? I think that will show you. This is about 8 bouquets. This ring is actually a little bit bigger than the one I used yesterday. So you figure 8, 16, so you're gonna need about 30 bouquets, or 24 bouquets to go all the way around here. And hopefully I gave you enough plant material, but if not, there's, as I said, there's plenty out by the Church Street entrance. So please feel free to come and pick up as much as you want. And there's also, I added some of that fun stuff from my neighbor's garden, the Harry Lauda's walking stick. I love that stuff. It is so cool. Oh. And as I said, if you, along the way, decide that, oh, you know what, this got a little too green or it needs a little accents, it is super easy to just, especially if you're lying it down, you can just sort of pop in little pieces if you want to. It's like doing your hair. You see how what I did right there? I decided, you know what, I needed a little more play with the eucalyptus berries, and I just popped them right in. You can't do that with a hanging wreath, however, but you can do that with a table arrangement. Now, the one thing that I have been struggling with is what do you do when you're done with the bouquet or the arrangements, because you have an awful lot of wire here. And I think all you have to, I think what you can do is when it's really bone dry, put it in a fireplace and burn it, and then you have the wire that's left over.
I bet that would smell good.
What's that?
I bet that would smell good with the lavender. And
yeah, I guess it would.
Yeah.
Now again, with these berries here, just cut the bottom off like that. Out, make a nice little stem. I'm sorry, I managed to cut myself. I'm gonna go get a Band-Aid. Apologize. Sorry about that.
Oh, wow, I just cut myself too.
I almost feel like I could wear a thimble to stop stabbing myself with the floral wire.
Oh, I know. That's the one thing that is no fun with this particular craft. The floral wire can be quite hard on your hands. And I'm wondering if this might work better. I just think it might be too wide. This is my worry about that. Maybe I should try. Actually. And floral wire and floral tape, you can get that at Walmart or in their craft department. And I'm wondering, this might not be a better. All right, so what I'm finding here, I'm just experimenting a little bit right now, is that the floral tape would work. So this stuff here, it's a little elastic and it's sort of a little sticky too. So it would work. However, you really have to keep making sure that there's tension, because otherwise it's going to unwind on you. And of course you don't want to have that happen. Let's see. Okay. And when you start, it's a good idea to have, cut yourself lots of little pieces of the floral tape, and cut yourself lots of little pieces of plant material, so you don't find yourself suddenly smack in the middle without enough material to work with. Also, and I am always super shocked at how much you need in terms of plant material. I mean, you just need a ton. For those of you who have taken my floral arrangement classes, I think we've talked about it before. It's just you end up using a ton of stuff, which of course is the fun bit. It's just good to know in advance that that's what you're doing, that you end up doing. All right, see, I have some more bouquets here. Let's see. Ooh. Now, I do think the lavender actually sort of adds it sort of adds a little bit of a nod to the holidays, doesn't it? With it sort of almost looks like you know, like a spruce or something, but not quite. I think that actually sort of is a nice little touch. Let's see. And just remember, the ivy is your friend. It hides a multitude of sins. Multitude. And every once in a while, just, you know, lie your arrangement flat so that you can just make sure that it actually stays level, so that the bouquets don't swoosh around or slip around the wire. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
What if they are slipping around a lot?
They are? Show me.
I'm saying, what if this one in particular, I feel like keeps moving. Should I just get another piece of floral wire and kind of like?
Yes, that's exactly what I would do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know some of them, and actually I can tell you the floral tape here, while it was a great idea, is not working. It was a lovely idea while it lasted, but not one that I actually think will work in the long run. Everybody's being very quiet. I hope you're having a nice time.
Very focused.
Focus is good. Okay. I apologize. We'll be right back. So one of the things that I want to show you before we go, because as you can tell, we're not going to finish our wreath in the hour that we have today. I want to show you how to finish finish your work. So hang on, let me just tie this one up.
Lotte, can I ask a quick question?
Yes, of course.
On the herbs, like I have some lemon thyme, I have some sage, I have some rosemary. Now, do you mix all that together, or do you just like stick to one fragrance?
Oh God, no! Mix it all together. I mean, if you go to one of my very fondest memories is a trip my family and I took to Portugal in the middle of the winter. And if you walk through a wild field in Portugal, there's that sense of sage and thyme and rosemary, and it's just that sort of mix of the herbs is just absolutely delightful. I mean, so mix and match to your heart's content, my friend.
Oh, all right.
So when you finish your wreath, you see the first one that you put in, the one that I said was all. Can you see here? Can you see this? There you go. The one that was all leaves and a nice big leaf. What you then do is you take your once you've gone all the way around the ring, all the way. You take your last bouquet, and then what you do is you tuck it under. Like this. You tuck it under the leaves like that. You see what I just did? I just lifted the leaves and then tuck the last one under and then secure it with wire. Actually, it's actually easier once you've gone all the way around, but you want to make sure that the transition is nice and clean. So let's see, where did I put my wire? And then you just, the last one. You know, it's like when you're knitting, the last one is always the hard part. So I learned, speaking of knitting, I learned how to do short rows with a wrap and turn. Do you know how to do that?
Short rows with a wrap and turn. No, I don't know how to do that.
No, I did not know either. So
what do you do with it?
What do you do with it? It's when you have, if you're doing a shoulder like this, where you're making a sort of the shoulder piece. So you knit the short rows and then you turn back.
Oh, okay.
And then there's this wrap and turn technique that makes it so that you don't have that ugly transition between the two rows. It's very, very cool. All right, so see what I just did here? Now that this was my first, let's see, there you go. So this was my first big leaf piece, and I just tucked that last one right in underneath. So can you see that? Now, in the event that you want to hang your wreath, what you do is you take your trusty wire and cut yourself a piece. I want to say this should be long enough. And you double it up like this. Double, 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 twist, 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 twist. Like this. Not that these wreaths are particularly heavy. And then what you do is you find a spot right here, say, and just essentially make yourself this is a little hard. Actually, I did this wrong. Okay, then what you do is you make a loop, like this, and twist that one. And then you take you find a spot in your wreath and just twist the tail around the ring like this. And then what you do is you have the loop right there. You can hang your wreath if you want to do that.
Call from Orange, PA. Call from Orange, PA.
Okay. All right. So, unfortunately, I have to go because my people down at Town Hall are insisting on getting payroll down so that I can pay my stuff, my people. So do you have, before I go, do you have any questions? Is there any comments that you would like to make? This is, I believe this is actually recorded. So if you want to go back and take a look at it, I think Ali will put it on our YouTube channel. And as I said, there's tons of plant material if you need more. Right out on the Church Street entrance, I put a ton there today. And to keep it fresh, you know, just take a shallow basin or pan or something and just put like half an inch of water in and just submerge it there. And you can also spritz it if you like, and it should keep for a week. And of course, there's nothing saying that if you decide that something is looking a little sad and a little dry, that you can just, you know, pop in a little fresh stuff here or there, you know, just a little say you want to, you just put a little fresh stuff in like that, and that can keep it fresh looking for a long time. You can do the same thing with evergreens. I mean, as I said, you can do this with pretty much any kind of plant material that you want. And yeah, that's my story for today. I hope you had a good time. You are all so busy. I hope you're having a good time.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
I think everyone should hold up their wreath.
Oh yes,
so
please.
we can see. Oh, really nice.
Oh, nice. Oh, you got a lot. Very nice. Good. Oh, good. That is so nice.
Pretty.
Thank you, Lotte.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Sharing your garden.
Pardon me?
I want to thank you for sharing your garden with us.
You are very welcome. Anytime.
Thank you. Have a great day,
I really enjoy doing.
We enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Have a great weekend.